Before diving into this incredible story, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. Every story here has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. Chicago, late afternoon. The sun was streaming through the cafe's large windows, maple and bean, drawing golden rays across the wooden tables and steaming cups. The smell of freshly ground coffee mingled with that of hot pastries. Every customer seemed lost in their own world. Some tapped away at their laptops, others chatted in whispers, but all seemed to ignore the young black waitress who was running from table to table. Mia Johnson, 24, wore her navy uniform slightly wrinkled, a small coffee stain on the sleeve. Her tired eyes betrayed nights spent studying and working, but her smile remained professional, almost mechanical, to hide the exhaustion. She knew that every tip counted, that every smile could sweeten someone's day, and sometimes, a smile could save a tip. As she placed a cappuccino on a couple's table, her phone vibrated in her pocket. The number displayed was unknown. With an automatic gesture, she picked up. A voice spoke, fast and fluid, but not in English. It was from Chinese, a language Mia had studied a little, out of curiosity, by observing her Chinese neighbor when she was a teenager. She frowned, but answered instinctively. The words came out naturally, and the conversation flowed with surprising fluidity, almost as if she had been speaking the language all her life. At that moment, in a discreet corner of the cafe, sitting in a leather armchair with a cup of black coffee in his hand, Jonathan Blake observed the scene. A man in his 40s, with salt and pepper hair and a stern but fascinating face, he was one of the most influential billionaires in the United States, known for his investments in unexpected talents. His gaze never left Mia, intrigued by the ease and intelligence that shone through in his voice. Mia hung up, slightly out of breath and confused. The call seemed important, but she had no idea where it was coming from or what her intentions were. Jonathan stood up slowly, a small smile on his lips, and walked over to her. He'd never believed in random chance encounters, but something about this young waitress had captured his attention. In a matter of minutes, Mia's destiny would change. A simple phone call, a moment of courage and unexpected knowledge, had created a bridge between her modest life and a world of possibilities she had never imagined. And in the shadows, behind his discreet smile, Jonathan already knew that this encounter would change not only Mia's life, but perhaps his own as well. The cafe gradually emptied as evening approached. The last customers slowly savored their coffees, immersed in their screens or in hushed conversations. Mia Johnson arranged a few cups on the counter, her mind still full of the strange afternoon phone conversation. She had never received a call like this. The voice on the phone had been polite but authoritative, giving her the impression that what she was being asked was important, almost urgent. The Chinese words she had spoken with surprising ease had left her speechless. Who would have thought that a simple skill learned out of curiosity years ago would suddenly become crucial? As she was about to clean a table, she felt a heavy gaze on her. Looking up, she saw a man standing near the cafe's exit. He wasn't just elegant, he exuded an aura of authority and confidence that couldn't be ignored. His impeccably styled salt and pepper hair and perfectly tailored dark suit gave him the appearance of a powerful man. Mia recognized his face immediately, Jonathan Blake, a discreet and influential billionaire, rarely seen in public. He approached her with a measured smile. "Excuse me," he said, his voice calm but penetrating. "I heard your conversation. Do you speak Chinese?" Mia felt her cheeks flush. Yeah, a little," she answered hesitantly. "Just a few phrases I learned when I was a teenager." Jonathan nodded, intrigued. "A few sentences," he said with a wry smile. "What I heard sounded a lot like mastery." He held a sleek business card toward her. "I know this is unexpected, but I think we should talk more. There's an opportunity one think would be perfect for you." Mia took the card, her heart pounding. The company mentioned on the paper was international, renowned for its influence in trade and projects around the world. She hesitated. Was this a trap or a real opportunity? Every fiber of her being told her this was serious, but caution remained. Jonathan looked at her intently, as if reading her thoughts. "I'm not asking you for anything now," he added softly. Just consider meeting with someone on my team tomorrow. You have nothing to lose by exploring this opportunity. Mia nodded, unable to speak for a few seconds. The mere idea that an encounter like this could exist in her daily life seemed unreal. She watched Jonathan leave, disappearing into the fading evening light, and felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension wash over her. For the first time in a long time, Mia felt that her life could change, and that everything depended on what she did next. The next morning, Mia woke up with unusual energy. Jonathan Blake's business card lay on her bedside table, and she couldn't help but glance at it, wondering if she'd fully grasped the gravity of what had happened. The prospect of meeting a billionaire and discussing an opportunity intimidated her as much as it excited her. After a quick breakfast and a shower, she put on her most professional outfit, a crisp white blouse and black slacks. Every step toward Jonathan's office was a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. She felt like she was walking into a world entirely different from the crowded Chicago coffee shop where she spent her days. The building's lobby was spacious and bright, decorated with marble and carefully tended plants. An assistant greeted her, kept her waiting a few minutes, and then ushered her into a luxurious office in the heart of Manhattan. Jonathan stood behind a massive desk, his eyes fixed on her with a mixture of seriousness and kindness. "Mia, I'm glad you came," he said, standing up to greet her. His handshake was firm but not intimidating. "I wanted to meet you in person because what I heard yesterday was rare and fascinating." Mia blushed slightly, trying to hide her nervousness. "Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Blake. I must admit, I'm a little surprised by all this." Jonathan smiled. "You don't have to understand right away. But let me explain." He gestured for Mia to sit down. "I observed your conversation at the cafe. Your ability to understand and respond in Chinese, without preparation, showed me that you have a rare talent, the ability to adapt, seize the moment, and transform an ordinary moment into something exceptional." Mia was speechless. She had never thought that speaking a few sentences in Chinese would have such an impact. Jonathan continued, "I have a company that handles international projects. We need people who can communicate with different cultures and languages, sometimes spontaneously. I think you could be that person." Mia's heart was pounding. It all seemed unreal, and yet Jonathan spoke with a seriousness and clarity that made his offer credible. "I understand, but I'm not sure I'm up to it," she murmured. Jonathan looked her straight in the eye. "Mia, what you just did yesterday at the cafe shows that you're already up to the task. All we have to do now is turn that skill into something concrete. If you agree, I'd like to invite you to meet with my team tomorrow to discuss projects and see how you can contribute." Mia nodded slowly, feeling a mixture of excitement and fear. "All right. I'm ready to try," she said finally. As she left the office, the world outside suddenly seemed different. Every person, every sound in the city seemed to vibrate with the possibility of something new. Mia felt her life was about to change, and that this moment in Jonathan's office was just the beginning. After meeting Jonathan Blake, Mia returned to Chicago with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The plane ride seemed both long and short, as her thoughts swirled around the unexpected opportunity that had just presented itself. Was she ready to leave her current life, her coffee shop, her routine, and dive into a completely unknown world? Back home, Mia sat at her small desk, Jonathan's business card still in front of her. She decided to do some research on his company. The name, Blake Global Enterprises, immediately evoked power, influence, and international expansion. The company's projects spanned several continents, ranging from trade and logistics to cultural and humanitarian initiatives. Mia read and reread the pages of the official website, realizing that this wasn't just a company looking for an employee, it was an institution that could transform the life of someone with the right talent. But this revelation came with a dilemma. How could she, a 24-year-old waitress with a bank account always on the verge of bankruptcy and nights spent studying, project herself into this world of billionaires and international meetings? What if she failed? What if she didn't live up to expectations? Mia sighed and slumped into her chair. Every moment she spent thinking made her more aware of the risk and the potential. She remembered the voice on the phone, quick and precise, that had contacted her the day before, and how she had answered without hesitation, almost instinctively. This ability to react, to seize an opportunity on the fly, was what had distinguished her in Jonathan's eyes. Finally, she stood up, determined. "If I don't take a chance now, I'll be stuck in this routine forever," she whispered to herself. She realized that this wasn't just a professional opportunity. It was a test of courage, self-confidence, and the ability to embrace the unexpected. The next day, Mia called the number on the card. A friendly voice greeted her and confirmed the meeting with Jonathan's team. Every word of the conversation reinforced her conviction, this was serious. As she put down the phone, Mia felt a new energy flood through her. She didn't yet know what the future held, but one thing was certain: in 24 hours, her life had changed, and all that remained was to walk courageously into this new world. Mia spent the morning walking the streets of Chicago, lost in thought. The city seemed different today, bigger, more alive, as if every corner reminded her that her life was about to change. She still held Jonathan Blake's business card in her hands, like a talisman, but her fingers gripped it with a slight tension. She remembered the luxurious office, Jonathan's confidence, and his calm but insightful way of speaking to her. It all seemed unreal to a waitress accustomed to taking orders and cleaning tables. But what worried her most was the leap she would have to make. Leaving her job, her routine, her very city, for an unfamiliar world, filled with influential people and overwhelming responsibilities. Mia sat on a bench, watching the passers-by. She thought of her mother, who had worked hard her entire life to provide Mia with a sense of stability, and of her student debt, which seemed to be piling up like unclimbable mountains. If she refused, her life would continue as before, tired, financially worried, dreams put on hold. But if she accepted, she risked everything, and could gain far more than she had ever imagined. As she was thinking, her phone vibrated. It was a message from Jonathan. "We understand this is a big step. Take your time, but know that we believe in your potential." These words warmed Mia's heart. She realized that this wasn't just a job opportunity, but a sign that someone believed in her, her abilities, and her instincts. This unexpected support gave her the courage to stand up. After a long pause, she made a decision. "I can't let this go," she whispered. "Even if I fail, at least I tried." Mia called Jonathan's team number and confirmed her presence for the next day. A wave of excitement and nervousness washed over her, mixed with a glimmer of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. She knew her choice would transform her life, and she was ready for whatever came. This decision marked the beginning of a new chapter for Mia Johnson. Embracing the unknown, she didn't yet know that every moment, every word, and every action would lead her toward a transformation she never thought possible. The next morning, Mia rose early. Excitement mixed with nervousness prevented her from eating anything. Every action seemed magnified, brushing her teeth, choosing her outfit, even pouring coffee into her cup. Everything about that day seemed important, for she was about to enter a completely new world. She flew to New York and, upon arrival, immediately felt the difference. The air in Manhattan was thicker, more vibrant. The buildings seemed to touch the sky, and people walked with a confidence she'd never noticed in Chicago. All around her was a breath of power, ambition, and opportunity. Jonathan's team welcomed him into the imposing lobby of Blake Global Enterprises, a glass and steel building that reflected the city like a mirror. An assistant guided her to the main office, where Jonathan was waiting, impeccably dressed as he had been the day before. But this time, his smile was warmer, almost welcoming. "Mia, welcome," he said, standing up to greet her. His handshake was firm but reassuring. "I'm glad you agreed to come." The office exuded luxury and efficiency. Glass walls offered panoramic views of the city, and every piece of furniture seemed carefully chosen. But what struck Mia wasn't just the opulence, it was Jonathan's energy and the way he communicated with his team. There was a clarity and confidence that fascinated her. "I wanted you to meet our team before discussing specific projects," Jonathan explained. "You need to understand the environment you might be working in. The team introduced themselves, each with a professional smile, but Mia immediately sensed their curiosity mixed with admiration. Jonathan guided her through the offices, explaining the company's various international projects, from business initiatives in Asia to humanitarian projects in Africa. Every word seemed to open up a new world, and Mia realized the opportunity was beyond anything she had imagined. Finally, they settled into a meeting room to directly discuss Mia's potential role. Jonathan looked at her seriously but kindly. "What we're looking for, Mia, is not just someone who speaks several languages. We want someone who can understand, act, and adapt, even in unexpected situations. And that's exactly what you demonstrated at the cafe." Mia felt her heart race. The meeting had confirmed what she already felt: her life was about to change, and every decision in the coming hours would shape her future in ways she never imagined. After the office tour and introductions, Mia found herself alone with Jonathan in the meeting room. The atmosphere was calm but electric. Every detail, the glass walls, the light filtering through the large windows, the subtle scent of fresh flowers, seemed to underscore the importance of the moment. Jonathan sat down opposite her and placed his hands on the desk. "Mia, you now have an idea of the scope of our work and our international projects," he began. "What I'm offering you is a rare opportunity. We need someone who can navigate between cultures, quickly understand complex situations, and react accurately." He pulled out a file and placed it in front of her. "Here's the role we're considering for you: International Project Coordinator. You'll be the link between our teams around the world and our foreign partners. Your ability to communicate in multiple languages, even spontaneously, will be essential." Mia quickly flipped through the file. The responsibilities seemed enormous: negotiations with partners in China and Japan, project coordination in Europe and Africa, strategic meetings with management teams. All this in a single position. A mixture of excitement and apprehension rose within her. Jonathan watched her reaction. "I understand this may seem intimidating," he said with an encouraging smile. "But what you demonstrated yesterday at the cafe, and what we saw in your interactions today, proves that you are capable of meeting these challenges." Mia took a deep breath. She knew this choice would transform her life. The comfort of her Chicago coffee shop and familiar routine would be replaced by a hectic pace and global responsibilities. But a part of her knew this was exactly what she'd been waiting for: a chance to prove herself. I'm up for this challenge," she said finally, her voice a mixture of nervousness and determination. Jonathan smiled, satisfied. "Excellent. We'll start with an induction period and a few pilot missions to familiarize you with our projects. But rest assured, Mia, your talent and adaptability will make the difference from the start." As she left the room, Mia felt a surge of pride and excitement. In less than 24 hours, her life had changed dramatically. From waitress to potential international coordinator, she had crossed a threshold that would take her toward a future she had never dared to imagine. A few days later, Mia arrived at the office with a mixture of tension and excitement. Jonathan was waiting for her, accompanied by 2 key members of his international team. The assignment she was being offered would be a true test of her skills and ability to handle stress. "Mia, today we're going to simulate a business negotiation with a partner in China," Jonathan explained. "You'll have to communicate only in Chinese, negotiate complex terms, and resolve unforeseen issues." Mia felt a shiver run down her spine. Everything she'd done so far, answering the phone at the coffee shop, impressing Jonathan, was nothing compared to this moment. But she remembered the trust Jonathan had in her and the courage she'd shown in accepting this new life. The simulation began. One team member played the role of the Chinese partner, speaking rapidly and asking unexpected questions. Mia responded calmly, using precise and appropriate expressions. She felt her mind fully focused, each sentence delivered with confidence and clarity. A tense moment arose when the partner rejected some proposals and demanded unexpected concessions. Mia took a deep breath, assessed the situation, and proposed an innovative solution that satisfied both parties. Jonathan and his team watched her closely, impressed by her ability to handle the unexpected. When the simulation ended, Jonathan smiled broadly. Mia, you've just demonstrated exactly what I was looking for. Not only do you speak the language, but you understand the cultural context, anticipate needs, and propose effective solutions. Mia, still high on adrenaline, felt a mixture of pride and relief. For the first time, she realized that it wasn't luck that defined her, but her skill, her courage, and her ability to seize opportunities at the right time. You're ready to begin your first real missions, Jonathan concluded. And I have no doubt that you'll impress our partners as much as you've impressed us. As Mia left the room, she felt her world expand. This test was only the beginning, but it had confirmed one essential truth: she had the talent and inner strength to succeed, even in the most demanding situations. Just a few days after starting his first missions at Blake Global Enterprises, Mia was already starting to attract attention. Social media and local Chicago media picked up on her story: the waitress who speaks Chinese in front of a billionaire and changes her life in 24 hours, headlined newspapers and news sites. Mia sat in Jonathan's office, watching the articles and videos circulating online. Dozens of encouraging messages poured in from all sides, strangers praising her courage, students identifying with her story, and professionals admiring her unexpected talent. Jonathan, sitting next to her, watched the scene with a satisfied smile. "Mia, do you know what I meant?" he said calmly. "Your ability to react spontaneously, seize the opportunity, and showcase your talent has inspired hundreds, if not thousands, of people." Mia felt a mixture of surprise and pride. She never imagined that a simple phone call and her unexpected fluency in a foreign language could trigger such a wave of gratitude. She remembered the coffee shop in Chicago, her long work hours, her sacrifices, and realized that it had all led to this precise moment. But this media attention also brought its share of pressure. Interviews were arranged, and Mia had to learn to speak about her career with clarity and humility, while remaining focused on her new responsibilities. Every word she spoke seemed to be scrutinized, every gesture observed. She knew that this rapid success could disappear just as quickly if she didn't remain vigilant. Yet, despite this pressure, Mia felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She had just discovered that her skills and courage could transform her life and inspire others. She realized that this wasn't just a personal victory; her story was becoming a symbol of hope for all those who dreamed of breaking the limits imposed by their environment or circumstances. That day, Mia realized something essential: the whole world could now see her potential. And she was ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that her life had just changed forever. The following weeks were intense for Mia. Her daily life, once punctuated by a crowded cafe and evening classes, had been replaced by a hectic schedule punctuated by international meetings, video conferences, and business trips. Each day brought its share of challenges, but also moments of satisfaction she had never experienced before. For the first time, Mia felt her efforts and skills were truly recognized. Her colleagues, initially surprised by her unusual background, quickly realized she possessed a unique ability to solve problems, communicate confidently, and navigate different cultures. Her instincts and spontaneity, once considered anecdotal, had become her greatest assets. Mia had also begun to feel the tangible effects of this transformation in her personal life. Her student debt was being paid off, she had been able to provide a more comfortable home for her mother, and she had even bought herself an apartment in Manhattan with a breathtaking view of the city. But more than anything, she felt a sense of self-confidence she had never had before. One evening, while returning from a meeting in New York, Mia thought back to that simple phone call she received at the coffee shop in Chicago. It had all started with that unexpected moment when she answered in Chinese, without thinking. She smiled, realizing that sometimes life can change in an instant, but the real transformation comes from how you seize those moments. Jonathan, congratulating her on her first successful international assignment, added, "Mia, you have not only impressed our team and partners, but you have also shown that you are able to face the unexpected with calm and intelligence. Keep it up, and your influence will grow even more." Mia knew she had crossed a threshold. She was no longer the young waitress from Chicago, invisible in her everyday coffee shop. She had become a respected professional, able to navigate a complex and demanding world. Her life had changed, not just because of the opportunity Jonathan offered, but because she had dared to believe in herself and her potential. At that precise moment, she understood that every moment, every decision, every risk taken had contributed to building the person she had become. And for the first time, Mia felt fully in control of her destiny. Mia stood in front of the large window of her Manhattan apartment, gazing out at the city that stretched as far as the eye could see. The twinkling lights reflected the reality of her new life, a life filled with possibilities, challenges, and successes she had never imagined. The journey since that day she answered the phone in Chinese seemed surreal, almost like a waking dream. Her routine had changed radically. Every morning, she woke up to coordinate international projects, speak with teams around the world, and solve complex problems that required intelligence and creativity. Her professional life was demanding, but incredibly rewarding. And every night, she could come home feeling like she had accomplished something meaningful. But Mia hadn't forgotten her roots. She continued to support her family, help her friends, and inspire those who had followed her from the beginning. Her story was picked up by the media and shared on social media as an example of courage and perseverance. For Mia, it wasn't just about personal success, but also about showing that sometimes an unexpected moment can transform an entire life. One morning, Jonathan walked into her office with a smile. "Mia, you have exceeded all our expectations," he said. "Your ability to act with intelligence, empathy, and determination has made you an indispensable member of our team." Mia smiled, feeling a warmth inside. "Thank you, Jonathan. But I don't think any of this would have been possible without daring to answer that simple call." He nodded. "Exactly. Sometimes life gives us an unexpected opportunity. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay on the sidelines is the decision to seize the opportunity. And you, Mia, have chosen to seize it fully." That day, Mia realized her life was no longer defined by the limitations of her past, but by the choices she made every day. She was no longer just a Chicago waitress, she was a symbol of courage, talent, and perseverance. A young woman capable of transforming a single moment into a lifetime of success. And as she looked out over the bustling city below, she smiled, ready to embrace every challenge and opportunity the future held. Her life had changed in 24 hours, but the real change came from her own determination to seize her destiny and create a future that was fully her own.